Hello there. I just have a quick message for you about freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, okay? And I don't mean this in a political way, not at all, okay? Those topics have a place in this life, but these are not topics that I will bring up. Very likely, you will not hear me talk about politics at all, ever, because it's just not, dude, it's just not the conversation I'm interested in having, right? You're not supposed to talk about religion or politics. So, strike one. I'm talking about spirituality, but I will not double betray and also talk about politics. No, thank you. But I did want to talk about freedom, though. Freedom in our thinking, freedom in the way that we speak. Okay. And that has to do with like an inner cleanliness. If we are connected to the self and we know what we're about, then we can speak freely, right? There is no need to double check our language as it goes out of our mouth. No filtering, okay? That doesn't mean that you are irresponsible with your language or hurtful with your language, but that you just are living in cleanliness. You're living in honesty. And so you can just talk. You don't have to worry. You don't have to double back and go, well, what did I say about this topic a month ago? Like, oh my gosh, No, dude, you're just talking. And that doesn't mean that you don't ever, make mistakes, maybe hurt somebody or something with your speech. That happens. It's a very human thing that happens naturally. And so it's not about that, but it's about being free with our purity, with our cleanliness, with our spirituality. I know that these are not like necessarily like popular topics. It's not like we, at the schoolyard, we're not like saying to each other like, hey, how's your, heart purity going? How is your, spirituality? How's your spiritual mind going? How's that third eye? None of that, dude. We live in a totally different kind of world, right? And that's fine. Okay. That's okay. But we do have a goal of evolving in this life. At least I do, okay? It is my hope that all of us want to grow, okay? Even if you don't call it like a soul's evolution or a humankind evolution, you don't have to call it any of that. You can just call it personal development. You can call it mental health. You can call it healthy relationships, healthy communication. There are so many different words that we can use to describe this kind of work. It's the same thing, right? You can call it whatever you want. Really, you could. It doesn't change it from being positive in your life. That's the point. And I think about like the connections in my life. I'm thinking right now in particular about my communication with my own mother, for example. My mom and I, dude, we are so close, and we can talk about very difficult things. Very difficult things. I cannot tell you the times that we have had very challenging conversations and we've held hands through it. We've cried through it. We hug afterwards because what? We love each other. That doesn't mean that we don't have feelings that come up between us that are difficult here and there, but we address each other with honesty. I really think of my mom as like, dude, is one of my best friends. There's really no other way around it. I love that person, okay? And so because I have been so honest with her, and that has been difficult, okay? That's taken years to do. But I am so honest with her that we can, and we frequently do. Just in the last 8 days, we've had 2 difficult conversations. Actually, you know what? If we want to take it back 3 weeks, we've had 3 difficult conversations. And we walk away okay afterwards. Do you see what I mean? But that doesn't mean that the conversations weren't challenging when they were happening, because they certainly were. Do you see what I'm saying? But I live in freedom. I do not have to hide my language from my mother. I do not have to hide my intentions, my goals, my dreams. Okay. I can be very honest with her. Okay. And again, that doesn't mean that there isn't difficulty that comes from that, but it means that we're now at a place where we can have difficult conversation, bridge the gap much more quickly, and get right back onto the path of love and consideration that we had previously been on. Okay, and so it takes work to be able to do this. It does. It takes so much work. But to live in freedom, in freedom, okay, and just being yourself, not having to put up any kind of pretension, not having to, say things to please people, not having to worry about what people are going to think about you, because you are in the energy of, I don't give a fuck. I have thought my life through and I feel good about these things. And so I will live according to what I have determined to be good and right. That doesn't mean that I'm not open to somebody's advice or anything like that. It just means that I seriously consider all aspects of my life. When I tell you that I do, I mean, what can I tell you guys? I really do. Okay, I spent a lot of time thinking things through, and I'll be honest with you. I do ask for advice, but most of my advice I'm asking for in prayer. That's just to be honest, okay? Because my feeling is my inner guidance will tell me what my next steps are, what the correct next steps are in my life. Okay, and so then I have to determine, I have to make a decision. Am I going to listen to my intuition, or am I going to essentially cower away in fear? Because to me, those were my choices. And I've done both. I've done both many times over, okay? It's my goal to live the rest of my life listening, right? Being humble, asking the question, and then listening for that inner guidance, and then following that advice. That is my hope. That is my wish. It's my dream. It is what I actually want to do. If I could, you guys, I'm going to be honest with you some more. If I could just do that for the rest of my life, I would be sincerely happy. That may sound strange, but I find so much joy in introspection. Not that there isn't hardship attached to it, because there really fucking is. But what can I tell you, dude? I am happiest when my head is up in the clouds, okay? And so anyway, that's just another little thought for you today. I hope it is helpful to somebody. And until next time, folks, see ya.